say things on camera. So I should say that Rhode Island entered into a partnership with IBM. So it's mostly Brown and IBM to get a Blue Gene machine. So it's one of the more specialized supercomputers. This was announced in the news, I think, over the summer sometime. And so that's an indication that HPC is important. And they're talking about doing things in Rhode Island, sort of like what we're doing here. I won't say how, we've got curriculum. I won't say better, right? It's different size and sort of targeted a little bit differently. But there really is nothing comparable here.
Yeah, I guess knowing that there are a lot of things that have to be worked out as we sort of figured out on this. Can you characterize at all the green nature of the green factors?
Wow. So I always tell my students when they go out and give job talks, figure out the 5 most likely questions someone's going to ask you and have a slide for it. Okay? That was the very first question. So what do we mean by green? So there's 3 components of green here. Okay? There's green in terms of the energy sources, and this is the 2008 Holyoke Gas and Electric in terms of where their energy came from. Nice picture of the dam, right? And actually, if you look at the carbon loading that you would get out of a data center with this kind of renewables, and this changes from year to year. I mean, Jim and I had some back and forth on this because the 2000 numbers are a little bit different from the 2000. I mean, it just varies over time. Who knows why? But if you look at the carbon loading factors of this to a typical data center that runs off of sort of coal or something a little bit dirtier than that, I mean, the carbon loading factors are anywhere from a factor of 10 to close to a factor of 100 smaller in this site than it could be in other places. So it's green in terms of where the sources of energy come from, and we have Holyoke to thank for that. It's also going to be green in terms of the facility operations. So when we build the facility, we want to have a very low, what's called PUE, which basically measures how much energy goes into the building and how much actually gets delivered to computation. So you want that number to be as close to 1 as possible. All the electricity is being used for computation, not for cooling and other things that you would use it for. We're fairly confident we're going to be really at the state of the art there. Maybe not the bleeding edge, but at the state of the art. The other thing is how we use the computers themselves. So imagine we all have computers, and we all put them inside a box, and I say, that's mine, but I'm going on vacation for a week, but don't touch my computer, right? And it sits there, and it's plugged in, and it idles, and nobody can use it. Now imagine we think about a way of federating our computing, where we all say, well, look, I need my cycles, my computing cycles, but when I'm not using them, you can use them, right? And ditto back and forth, and we can share things, right? That gives us, in this case, 50 times more computing power at peak, and on average, you don't use your computer that much, right? And so, on average, maybe we're getting 30 times as much computing as we individually own. So we're much more efficient there too. So that's another aspect of efficiency. And then we're looking at the kinds of applications that we saw. I want to make a very clear statement that they're also about energy science, environmental science, environmental modeling. Sorry, that should be green computing, not clean. But you get the idea. But great question.